chronic pain steals from us. Don't let chronic pain stop you or a loved one from living life. At MD Pain, we wrote the book on effective, ethical pain management. We offer the most up-to-date treatments from Nebraska's leading physicians. Don't let pain stand in your way. Call MD Pain.
Hi, this is Kurt, your shop manager at A1 Automotive here in downtown Lincoln. My promise to you is this: you won't find another automotive repair facility that genuinely cares about you and your vehicle. Our service is outstanding and our customer service is better. Please give me a call for all your automotive repair questions and needs. Call me at 402-477-4660. We were built on small town values, and that shows in how we treat others. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Now that Ken Richards has purchased Broker's Agency, he and his professional staff will continue to provide their clients with the same excellent service under the Broker's Insurance Agency name. Broker's Insurance Agency works with more than 15 companies to help find the best policy for you to avoid any long hassles. Also, if you're looking to get into the insurance business as an independent agent, they have the formula to make that process smooth and successful. Call Ken with Broker's Insurance Agency today at 402-420-5353 or visit brokersinsuranceNE.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth. 93.7 The Ticket. 93.7 The Ticket. Sports news go now.
I'm Enrique Alvarez-Clary.
Most important game of Saturday. I think that's been stressed on the team. We can't get ahead of ourselves. We got to go one game at a time. In Illinois, since the Rutgers game last year, had our eyes on Illinois. So it is the biggest game because we've been preparing for the last 8 months for this game. So, like I said, I think the team is excited and confident going into this game Saturday.
That was offensive lineman Ethan Piper yesterday, speaking on the conversations in the locker room about this season and how important the first game of the year is to them. With the Huskers' Week 0 game at Illinois slowly approaching, things are starting to take shape with the team. Despite the lack of a depth chart from both Nebraska and the Illini, Nebraska's defense has taken shape with the handing out of the black shirts. 12 of the prestigious jerseys were handed out to the defense, 3 in the secondary, 4 on the defensive line, and 5 to the linebackers. Notable missing black shirt, the second corner opposite of Cam Taylor-Britt. The first game of the season up in Champaign this Saturday will kick off at 12:20 p.m. on Fox. In MLB news, the Kansas City Royals extended their win streak to 4 games with a 7-1 win over the Astros. The Chicago Cubs ended their 13-game losing streak inside the friendly confines of Wrigley Field with a 6-4 victory over the Rockies, and something had to give in the first matchup between two teams on 9-game win streaks in 120 years when the Yankees went down to Atlanta and beat the Braves 5-1. For more of the latest sports news and updates, keep it tuned right here to 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Live from the Koppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I want to know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
And Enrique Alvarez-Clary.
C is for chunk.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Good afternoon. There we are. Third time's the charm. Happy Tuesday. This is the happy hour. Nick Sainer, Enrique Alvarez-Clary with you. Hello, Rico.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going fantabulous. How are you?
Not too bad. Fun show ahead.
Sorry that I had to push so many buttons.
That's all right. We got my mic on. Well, it's tough because we had to transition from the remote.
Well, you turned the program off on mic 2 and 3.
I had to talk to them.
Why'd you do it on both of them?
It's fine. I hope everybody's day is going well. Some news in the last hour or so from
the day. Hey.
The Big Ten, Big 12, Big Ten, Pac-12, and ACC Alliance.
Hold on, I have a sounder for this. Find it, though. Keep going.
Okay, but first, before we get to the breaking news, we have to do our winner of nothing text today.
Congratulations to Don. You have won absolutely Nothing.
Congrats to Don. Thank you for texting first for the happy hour. And give him some extra credit because he did it as a streamer. So congrats to Don. Colin and Lincoln, you were seconds behind. Beef Juice, thank you for being present.
Tyler and Phoenix, hey,
Yes.
I'm glad you only texted once. You were not first.
Unnamed texter, 2702 as your last 4 digits.
You were not the first text.
You were not the first text, but also give us a name.
And Rubber Duck from LinkedIn, what's poppin'?
So, like we just said, with the
Great transition.
Yes. Like we just said with the whole alliance here. Twitter just refreshed. Thank you, Rico.
It's breaking news.
This comes from Stuart Mandel on Twitter. He's the editor at The Athletic, if you do not know him. He says, more to come later, possibly, but this is what we've learned about the alliance so far. And I love it because the alliance is caps.
The Alliance.
So it's like a trademark name, which makes it even better.
Welcome to the Alliance.
So there's 3 things that we know. There is no signed contract, but they trust each other.
That's dumb.
Number 2, they haven't figured out what their scheduling alliance will look like. And number 3, they haven't decided yet if they support the 12.
Pretty much what what the alliance is with no signed contract and we trust each other is, hey, SEC, we saw you make a move. We don't like it. We didn't support it. But also, if you want to invite, one of the teams from our conference over to join the SEC, we're totally fine with that.
Here is what Jim Phillips, here's some quotes from the press conference of the announcement of the alliance earlier. Jim Phillips says, quote, "It's about trust. We've looked each other in the eye and made an agreement. If a signed contract is what it takes to get something considerable done, then we've lost our way." Here's what Kevin Warren, the Big Ten commissioner, says. "If you have to go back and look at a contract that you signed, then you probably entered a deal with the wrong parties." So they're really going off.
Nobody said you have to go back and look at the contract that you signed, but writing up a contract saying, hey, this is our alliance. We agreed to these terms, working together, staying in the alliance, not going behind each other's backs and talking to the SEC or ESPN, making everything, if we do decide to talk to somebody, public with the rest of the members of the alliance, maybe some type of money sharing from TV deals or something. Since all of this revolves around money, maybe something with the playoff. If you don't support the 12 team, maybe you put that in there. Like none of us support the 12 team playoff. Maybe we support an 18 playoff or something like that. Like the contract isn't meant to be looked at every other day. Like, wait, what did we say in the contract? You're just supposed to know, like, this is what we agreed to. This is a contract saying if you break these things, I don't know, something happens to you.
Yeah. So Kevin Warren continued by saying, "I wouldn't say this is a reaction to Texas and Oklahoma joining the SEC, but to be totally candid, you have to evaluate what's going on in the landscape of college athletics."
I'm not saying I'm reacting to it, but we're definitely reacting to it.
I understand Texas and Oklahoma are going to the SEC, but this is not in response. But we're still not signing a contract because we don't want to be binded legally. Because we looked each other in the eye and we said,
do you trust me?
I trust you. I trust you, Rico.
I trust you. Do you trust me, though?
Yes.
Do we trust?
We
do we trust this other person? Do we trust them? Are you sure?
Mark's trustworthy. It's like us 3 getting into a room and being like, "Yo, don't eat that cookie. That's my cookie."
You're definitely the Pac-12.
Oh,
I'll give Mark
boy.
the ACC. Now, Mark's the big. Which is smarter, the ACC or the Big Ten? Because whichever one that one is, that's Mark.
Big Ten or ACC? I think the ACC probably.
Who's smarter?
The Big Ten is
ACC
just so reactionary. It just waits for everybody else. We saw that with the COVID stuff just a couple days ago. They just wait for everybody else to make
I guess
a
you
move.
have like your 2 smartest schools. You have Northwestern and who's the smartest school in the ACC? Duke.
Let's
Private
see,
universities?
Virginia Tech. I don't know how smart they are.
Virginia's pretty smart.
Virginia. Clemson, probably not.
Clemson's not smart.
Florida State.
They're matching up purple and orange. They're not smart.
So, yeah. So that's the breaking news out of the three of the 5 Power 5 conferences, because the Big 12 is barely a conference. It feels like anymore.
The Big 12 is dead.
Which I saw this. I guess this would be a good day to point this out and take this with a grain of salt, because you never know if there's going to be any traction from these things. But This tweet comes from Dylan Davis, who is a contributor for a couple sites, including Fansided. He tweeted out, Fox Sports analyst and former Pitt football coach Dave Wanstedt went on 670 The Score in Chicago this morning and said that he heard the following Big 12 news at the Fox meetings last week.
Ooh.
Oklahoma State and Kansas State to the Pac-12, West Virginia to the ACC, which feels right.
Yeah.
And then here's the other one.
That tracks.
Kansas and Iowa State to the Big 10.
Yes.
And so take that with a grain of salt. Take that for however you want.
Who's left out? Where's Baylor? Where's TCU? Where's Texas Tech?
TCU feels...
Back to the Mountain West?
No.
We've had a taste of Power 5 life.
How would Texas Tech do in the SEC?
Not great. Texas Tech, Texas Tech, Pac-12.
Texas Tech, Pac-12.
Texas Tech, Pac-12.
Okay. I think that would be okay.
Baylor SEC?
No way. Their
football is
basketball.
Baylor basketball and baseball SEC would
men's
work.
and women's basketball. Would
yeah,
be
they
really
work
good
there. Football wise, They would do okay.
Where does TCU go? ACC?
Oh no, that would be
I
Fort
don't
Worth.
know.
Whereas
I feel like
I guess geography means absolutely nothing. That was what I'm trying to match it up with.
I feel like
geographically.
I feel like TCU and West Virginia are somewhat like they just feel like a similar school. Like not a powerhouse in any of the main sports.
Either TCU goes Pac-12 or TCU has to go back to a group of 5.
What if TCU went to the SEC? Because football's average. I mean, you can't.
They're average in every sport.
I have such a hard time looking at like the power of sports because like you look at Missouri and how did they get into the SEC, and like TCU has a good baseball program, and which I know baseball is not a main sport or a main driver anywhere necessarily, but that would be the conference to join if you want to keep adding top tier baseball programs.
It depends on where the SEC wants to go with it. If they're worried about a team that has strong football and other sports, or decent football and good other sports.
Because I mean, basically, it's just mega conferences.
Oh yeah. Well, if the Big Ten is willing to adopt Kansas just for basketball, and Iowa State for being good at football now and decent at other sports, if they wanted to add somebody else, they could look at it like a TCU.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Although if they were looking at somebody else, I'm sure they would want Oklahoma State.
Yeah, Oklahoma State is an interesting one. Mediocre in football, but they still get decent recognition. Basketball, I don't know how good their basketball program is going to be now. With
speaking of Oklahoma State basketball, Donovan Williams has been cleared for practice.
There you go, former North Star Navigator or North Star Gator, whichever kind of person you are,
whichever stupid mascot you want.
Yeah. Which, did you see, they put out like the scariest or the creepiest mascots the other day, and Purdue Pete won it?
Makes sense.
I feel like you could find a scarier, creepier mascot.
He's weird.
Yeah, so that's news out of the Alliance. 402-464-5685. Sartor Heyman. Text line, Honda, Lincoln Hotline. Both those are open for you all show long. Tyler in Phoenix says this Alliance has to be called the Big Pack.
With 2 C's.
With 2 C's. Why not?
I mean, it could be, but also no.
Yeah.
Just call it the Alliance. It sounds like a cult.
No cult talk.
It sounds
I'm not a guy of cults.
It sounds like a cult. Like all they're missing is a hand sign, and they're good to go. Like if they would just sorry, hit the mic. That was very loud. If they just put their hands up like a triangle, like kind of making an A,
or 3 handshakes.
The Alliance.
Could you do like 3 handshakes? Because there's no contract. They looked each other in the eye and shook on it.
It's just 3 people have to fist bump.
And they trust each other.
In a triangle shape. All of them have to fist bump at the same time.
It's like the Power Rangers. They don't need no stinking contracts. Rico, you have something on your mind. And I want you.
Are you sure?
You have the space. I want you.
I mean, this thought needs lots and lots of interaction from the listeners.
Okay.
Whether you're watching on the Sartor Heyman Jewelers video stream on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook, or if you're listening on your radio, or if you're listening on your app, 93.7 The Ticket app in your app store and iTunes store, or on our website, theticketfm.com. I need interaction. Why do people hate the media so much right now? And I'm not talking like grand general media. I'm talking Husker football media.
Okay.
What happened?
Explain why you think people hate the media.
After yesterday's press conference and Scott Frost's 5 minute, 4 minute, however,
5 minute and 3 seconds,
5 minute, 3 second presser where he said nothing and they gave very short answers and then walked out. Media members were just like, that was short. That was weird. And everybody jumped on them and said, well, it's because you guys suck. Nobody likes you, and you guys are trying to tear the team apart and tear the school apart. And this is Bo Pelini 2.0, and Scott Frost hates the media, and we hate the media, and we're backing Coach Frost. And I just want to know, what happened? What? Nobody's here to tear down Nebraska. In fact, everybody that was at that press conference that is part of the evil media that you hate so much, a big chunk of their paycheck is Husker football.
If Nebraska does well.
Like when Nebraska football does well, everybody in that room has a much easier job.
Much more enjoyable as well.
Yeah, like going to those pressers is more fun. Writing stories is more fun. Interacting with people is more fun. But right now, they're just I'm part of the media.
Mm-hmm.
We are just out here trying to make a living and just trying to bring the information that we get from the coaches or that we glean from practices that we watch or from what the coaches are saying, and we're just trying to bring it to you. You don't have to agree with it, but it's not that we're trying to tear down the football program and trying to run Scott Frost out of town. A lot of the media members think Scott Frost is the right guy and think that he can get it turned around. It's just not working right now. And guess what? We're not going to sugarcoat it. We're going to be like, hey, Scott Frost is 12-20. It's not great. It doesn't look great. He needs to pick it up. That's really all these stories are. But then everybody's like, well, why are you attacking him? He's doing all he can. I'm like, yeah, we know he's doing all he can. Mm-hmm. We're writing that he's doing all he can. We're writing that there's more talent. But the problem is, if we say, oh, well, he's kind of struggling right now and the team is struggling right now, you hate it. If we say, oh, this team looks really good, man, these receivers, they look fantastic. The running back room is full of talent. Adrian Martinez looks like he's slimmed down. He sounds like he's becoming more of a leader. In practice, his passes are crisp, they're sharp. I think this team could do really good. Well, why are you saying that? This team is terrible. Why are you trying to sugarcoat it and trying to pour Kool-Aid down our throats?
My only response, and I have had time a day to let this marinate. I rewatched the presser. I didn't want to overanalyze it yesterday, and I probably did. I probably jumped to a conclusion way too soon. I made a comment yesterday about how it just there was a bad PR move. And here's the thing. I am all for being focused on a game. And I understand that it might be annoying to meet with media and stuff like that. I am all for being focused on a game, and rewatching the press conference yesterday, I don't necessarily care how long it was. It was funny. It was funny that it was only 5 minutes long, but here's the thing. When it could have been super easy yesterday to talk a little bit more in depth about black shirts, to talk a little bit more in depth about Damian Daniels more specifically, when he was asked about Damian more specifically, because you can still be laser focused on Illinois, and I'm glad that they are. I'm glad that that's the narrative, is that proved yesterday that these guys, this coaching staff, is focused on Illinois. So if they were trying to, achieve that goal, achieve that job, then they did. However, when it came to talking about black shirts and captains and, specific players, when they were asked, there were better ways I felt like you could handle it. However, on the flip side of that, looking at that idea of Scott Frost being, given crap if he answers in the whole, we really had a great week of practice, like he has in recent years, and fans get annoyed by that.
Oh, you had another great day of practice. Why don't you show it on the field?
And so it goes back to the whole, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. However you answer a question, people are going to respond in different ways. My whole problem yesterday, it wasn't the length, it wasn't his attitude, it wasn't anything like that. It was I'm glad that you're laser focused on Illinois. I'm just glad. I wish that you had an opportunity to talk and highlight the captains that were just selected over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It was our first, as a media, it was our first chance to talk to you about those captains. And I understand the team voted on them, but you also have opinions and beliefs on those captains as well. And so, and also in a week and in an off season that Husker fans and everybody is starving for Husker football to be successful, this was an opportunity to say, hey, these are our guys, these are our leaders, and this is why I'm glad that these 4 were chosen as captains.
Like he was asked about the captains, he was asked about the black shirts, and it seems like, you know, if you don't want to answer a question about the vaccination rates, if you don't want to answer a question about, you know, how your team is looking going into Illinois, if you just want to say, yeah, we've had a good week of practice, just laser focused on Illinois, that's fine. That's okay. And I don't think anybody really had a problem with that part, but it's when he was asked about the captains, the guys, the young men who you are leading. It was when he was asked about the black shirts who were just given their black shirts by former black shirts, and your AD, Trev Alberts, handed out some black shirts as well. And it was just a chance to highlight the players on your team and why you think that they got their black shirts and how their season is going to unfold and how excited you are for this glorious moment for these guys. Like some of these guys that, you know, they've gotten a black shirt before. Some of these guys are getting their black shirts for the first time. Like it's an exciting moment. And that, like, we just want to see, like, every player that went up that was a defensive player, they were asked, hey, how did it feel to get your black shirt? How did you feel when you saw the black shirt? And they were all excited. Their faces lit up. They were massive smiles. So they were just like, the media is just like, hey, let's see what Scott Frost, like, we just want to know what Scott Frost thinks about the black shirts being handed out. And he's just like, yeah, you know, we handed out some black shirts. Some guys got them, some guys didn't. Whatever. Yeah. Like, I think those 2 questions were the real issues. Like the rest of it, you know, if you don't want to answer it, whatever, dude. I don't care. But when you're asked about your players, maybe give a little bit more enthusiasm. And it's not that, you know, on the text line, people are saying, you know, it's game week. Why are we caring about the media's feelings? I mean, it's not that we're caring about the media's feelings. It's the fact that everybody is attacking like Mitch Sherman, telling him that he's doing a terrible job and that he's such a, not a homer, whatever the opposite of that is. And it's very upsetting because Mitch Sherman does a fantastic job. He's great at what he does.
And so I didn't want to spend too much time on that, but that was my whole thing is I don't care about how long it took. I don't care about, I'm happy that the coaching staff is obviously laser focused on Illinois. I'm very actually thrilled that that's what's going on. But like I said, this has been overanalyzed by a lot of people, including myself yesterday on Tom and Bach. I overanalyzed right off the bat, right after it ended. I overanalyzed on our show yesterday. I'll be the first to admit that. But hey, it's all right. It's in the past. And now this is my thought on it. And I just wanted to translate that to you guys. Once again, 402-464-5685. I do have good news. Good news. Last week, when we opened it up for segment ideas and suggestions, we took some of those, and one of them is happening today. In the next segment, after we take a break here in a few minutes, we are going to play a game called Masked Sainert. It very well could change names. It's still open for sponsorship.
It's not changing names.
I kind of hope it does change a name.
Nope. The Masked Sainert.
Yes.
We'll make some type of weird intro for it with music and singing. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
But here's what's going to happen is we're going to take a break here in a couple minutes, but I want to explain the rules. You can call during the break, and then we'll get to you right on the other side. There's going to be one caller. The first caller gets to play. I have an athlete, and I have 3 clues. You will earn Salt Dogs passes if you win. If you lose, you win nothing. Here's how it goes. You can choose how many clues you want. If you only want 1 clue, you get 10 seconds to guess the athlete. If you want 2 clues, you get 7 seconds to guess the athlete. And if you want 3 clues, all 3 clues, and these 3 clues should tell you the player easily, then you only get 4 seconds. So you get to decide how hard you want to make it. and we are going to have some fun. And so here in a couple minutes, a lot of them have, all the athletes that I'll choose have some connection to Nebraska, whether it's they've played against them, they've played on the Nebraska teams, or anything with Nebraska, that'll be the athlete.
Just some type of Nebraska ties.
Some type of Nebraska ties. It's not like their family play.
You should know these players,
yes,
because you would have watched them or heard about them in regards to Nebraska football.
Exactly, and it's going to be recent players.
Okay, nobody from way back when.
Nobody from far back. It'll be recent
Granted,
guys.
Way back when for you would be like
no. I'm saying even
1992.
Like 1990 and before won't be a part of this. It'll be 1990,
91 up until today. Okay.
And so it'll be recent players. And so once we hit to break, you guys will be able to call, and whoever calls first will be first in line. Just to give you guys a brief outlook here of what we have coming up in the rest of the show, we're going to look at all the offseason conversations. What were all the questions heading into this offseason? What have we now found out through a full offseason pretty much, because now it's Illinois prep for Nebraska. Illinois also put out an article about 40 minutes ago from their fan-sided site that they're not worried about Nebraska. And
they're more than not worried about Nebraska.
Yeah, and so I will read parts of that article and we'll give our reaction and stuff. Also, in regards to Illinois media, Scott Beatty from WDWS 1400 in Champaign will join us on Thursday to kind of preview what how their vibe is down in Champaign, to see what it's like in Illinois.
Okay.
Another thing we'll talk about, the top 10 hardest schedules in 2021 were released today per the SP Plus. Nebraska is second on that list.
Wow.
And so they brought out averages of what a top 5 team would produce with the hardest schedule in the country and stuff. And so we translated that to Nebraska. What does that mean if Nebraska finally gets 6 wins under their belt?
Second hardest schedule in the nation? Or is it top 10 second?
Nope, second hardest schedule in the nation. Because if I'll just kind of preview it here, if Nebraska makes a bowl game, obviously it'll prove progress. However, on the flip side of that, if Nebraska fails to make a bowl game,
no, it's the second hardest schedule in the nation.
There are 2 ways that fans could look at this. And I want you guys to think about this and send in your thoughts. It's either the difficult schedule will be an excuse, or the narrative of this staff is never going to be able to make it work. And so send in your thoughts, 402-464-5685. More up next on the Happy Hour.
The following is a test of the emergency alert system.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Tractor Supply Distribution Center in Waverly is now hiring for all shifts. They're a 24/7 facility and a clean environment to work in. There's potential to earn up to $25.25 per hour with opportunities for overtime. They also offer a retention bonus, as new team members are eligible for a bonus as high as $1,000. Come be a part of the Tractor Supply team. Apply today at www.tractorsupply.jobs.
Every time the back door closes, it squeaks and reminds me of how I used to go out back for a cigarette 2-3 times a day, when I was stressed, when I was hungry, when I was bored. But then I think of how the stale taste lingered in my mouth, and I reach into my purse and pop a stick of gum. And the craving is gone.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Mike Schaefer here with 5-star child care provider Lee Beecher from Bubbles and Blocks. Let's start with what makes Bubbles and Blocks special.
We have 3 beautiful locations in Lincoln that provide the safety, security, and reliability you need, while also bringing a family feel to each classroom at every location.
I also hear some congratulations are in order.
Thank you. Yes, we just won the Lincoln Choice Award for Best Daycare and Preschool for the 3rd year in a row.
What should people do if they want to join the Bubbles and Blocks family?
Call to set up a tour to enroll your child today, or you can visit bubblesandblocks.com to apply to join our team.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben sandwich or the Prime Rib French dip or any of their famous chicken wings. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
If you're feeling past your prime with low libido, to get you back on track. Ramey and Jackie have focused their careers on whole body wellness and can help with everything from testosterone replacement to Botox to help the outside match the inside and regain your youthful appearance. Vitalize Health does accept insurance. Call them today at 402-413-0717 or go online to vitalizehealthne.com.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sure. Sutter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SutterHeyman.com.
T.O. Haas Tire and Auto.
T.O. Haas Tire reminds you there's still plenty of summer left for one more long weekend, one more day in the sun, or one more getaway drive down your favorite road to enjoy one last stretch of summer. And we're here to help with up to $100 back on a new set of Michelin tires, including the all-new Cross Climate 2.
T.O. Haas Tire and Auto, a tradition of trust.
Baseball's back, Lincoln, and that means Fireworks Fridays are too. Come out to Haymarket Park for Friday home games to celebrate the Lincoln Salt Dogs' 20th season with baseball, giveaways, and of course, post-game fireworks. We're glad to have you back in the stands. Watch us light up the sky for our celebration season. Get your tickets to the best night out in Lincoln at saltdogs.com.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back here. Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com. Nick Sainert, Enrique Alvarez Clary with you. We'll see if we get any callers. You can call now, 402-464-5685 to play Masked Sainert.
The Masked Sainert.
We don't have any music yet, but you can win Salt Dogs vouchers. If you guess correctly, you get to guess how many clues you want to use.
I'm sure I can find something here.
Yeah, we'll find something here. See if anybody calls in. But if you missed it or just now joining us, we can interrupt anything we're doing when we get a call here. 402-464-5685 one more time. So like I was saying before we went to break, Illinois, they sent out an article. This is by Reese Woodcock 44 minutes ago. Here's what to expect from the Illinois football offense against Nebraska. He says, quote, I would argue that the game against the Cornhuskers last season was one of the best. The main strength for the Illini this season would be the running attack, which if you were listening to DP's stuff yesterday, he said that the main hope for Nebraska is if they can just force Illinois to throw the football. Marquise Beeson is out, the former Husker commit. He's out this weekend. He made a transition over the offseason from defensive back to wide receiver. He's not playing this weekend. He's out for a couple weeks. So they have Brian Hightower, and it looks like we have a contestant. So we'll get back to this here in a second. We have Jared on the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Hello, Jared.
Nope, that's not right.
Jared.
Hello, Jared.
Hey, what's up?
How's it going, man?
Oh, pretty good.
All righty, Jared. Yeah, I hear you. I will ask you this. How many clues would you like? You get 10 seconds to guess if you only have one clue, 7 seconds for 2 clues, or 4 seconds for 3 clues.
Or can you say that again?
Yeah, so if you only want me to give you one clue, you have 10 seconds to guess the athlete. If you want me to give you 2 clues, you'll have 7 seconds to guess the athlete. Or if you want all 3 of the clues, you will have 4 seconds to guess the athlete.
Okay. Let's just do the 1.
All right. Your 1 clue, the timer will start after I finish giving the clue. The 22-year-old running back put up 163 yards on Nebraska in 2018 and 177 yards in 2019 against the Huskers. Your timer starts now. Enrico is counting down with his hands.
And this is Illinois school, or this is Illinois?
This is nothing. It's just an athlete. You get 5 more seconds.
Master T. I have no idea.
Oh, close. Unfortunately, that is incorrect.
Sad. Sorry about it.
I know we have another caller here. 1 second. Mark is writing. Don, welcome, man. This is your segment that you suggested for us. So now you're playing your own game.
Yeah, I know. I tried to be the first one, so that's what I was going for.
That's all right. How many clues would you like?
Let's go with 3.
Okay, so you'll have 4 seconds after I finish reading all 3 clues. Okay, Don?
Okay.
All right. This 22-year-old running back is entering his 2nd season on an AFC North division team. He played in the Big Ten Conference and won 3 Big Ten titles. And your 3rd clue is he put up 163 yards on Nebraska in 2018 and 177 yards in 2019 against the Huskers. Your time starts now. 4 seconds.
Jonathan Taylor.
Incorrect. Sorry, buddy. And we are still searching. We'll take one more phone call.
Well, now they know all the clues.
Yeah, now you know all the clues, so you'll just get 4 seconds. I can repeat them all.
I'll give them 5 seconds.
All right, 5 seconds if we
I'll give you an extra second. Yeah, you're welcome, listeners.
We've had Master Teague and Jonathan Taylor.
All right, just read the clues again for him.
22-year-old running back is entering his 2nd season on this AFC North Division team. He played in the Big Ten Conference and won 3 Big Ten titles. And he's put up 163 yards on Nebraska in 2018 and 177 yards in 2019 as well. We have one more contestant here. Marty. How's it going, Marty?
Hello. Good.
All right. Do you know who the athlete is?
J.K. Dobbins.
Congratulations, Marty. That is correct.
Ding,
J.K.
ding,
Dobbins
ding.
is the correct answer. Mark will get your information. Thanks for playing, guys.
Congratulations.
Oh, you will win Salt Dogs vouchers.
Yeah, you never mentioned that at the beginning.
I did. So J.K. Dobbins is the athlete. We'll do that every Tuesday at
Hey, look, our first critique
at 2:30. Oh man.
Well, for the show or for the game show it says
this game is terrible. That's fine. I don't care if it's terrible. I'm gonna still play it.
I like it.
You just don't have to call in. Like, that's fine. If you don't want to play the game, that's all right. So back to the Illinois article.
Maybe better hints.
Maybe better hints.
Maybe word them a little better. This 22-year-old running back put up. I don't know.
I feel like that tells you that it's pretty recent.
I don't know.
Okay, so back to the Illinois article here, preview of the Illini offense against Nebraska. Like I was saying, the main strength for the Illini is going to be the running attack. The weaknesses. This is what they say the weaknesses of Illinois are. Honestly, there aren't a lot of weaknesses coming into the game against Nebraska. They said losing our top wide receiver hurts in Josh Imatorbhebhe, but I also believe others will step up. They only have a couple injuries, one of those being Marquise Beeson, who switched from defensive back to wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's the interesting one. So fasten your seatbelts. They finished the article saying, overall, I am pretty confident in the Illinois offense heading into week 0. While we finished 2-6 last season, people need to remember that we had 4 different starting quarterbacks thanks to COVID and injuries. That shouldn't be the case this season. Against Nebraska, I have a confidence of 9 out of 10. Illinois has the firepower returning to do some serious damage to a below-par Husker defense. I would be shocked.
Below par?
I would be shocked if we didn't score at least 40 points.
Oh, my goodness.
So in terms In terms of
confidence,
Illinois is confident.
Illinois is feeling themselves. 40 points on this. What did they say Nebraska's defense was?
Below par.
Below par, returning all but 2 starters.
And so that's one of the first questions I'm going to ask the Scott Beatty, from Champaign on Thursday is
what's your confidence level?
Yeah, what's the confidence level in Champaign? Is it really a 9 out of 10? Because holy cow,
Champaign is feeling themselves. So they've got 22 returning super seniors. They've got a proven Big Ten coach. Granted, he is new to the program, and they feel like they're going to drop a cool 40 burger on a Nebraska defense, returning all but 2 starters.
At least a 40 burger.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
And so in this whole idea of Illinois,
I don't knock the confidence. I like it.
Yeah. But would you say Nebraska fans are confident?
Some of them.
I'm confident that Nebraska is going to be able to win.
I mean, so am I. I think they're going to win by 2 touchdowns, but there are some fans who think that Nebraska's not going to win this game. So I mean, there's that. So they probably, look at this Illinois article and be like, you know what? I agree with this. This is a good Illinois team. They're making good points. They're returning a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
They're hopefully going to have their starting quarterback set in stone by the first game, and he'll actually be able to play. Hopefully nothing happens. And I mean, you can't write an article and just be like, yeah, the team sucks. We've got a new head coach, and we're going to lose to Nebraska by 35 points.
Yeah.
You don't have to go all out with the confidence and say, I'd be surprised if they don't drop at least 40 on a subpar Nebraska defense. But it makes sense to have some sort of confidence against. I mean, you're also facing a team that hasn't proven to be a world beater. So the confidence that Nebraska fans have that, they're going to go in and drop at least 40 points against Illinois might be a little misplaced as well. I mean, both of these teams are not world beaters.
No. Yes, it's the fact of Illinois being under staff, and I mean they're a below average team, picked to finish pretty low in the conference and the division. Does that, and it's a game that Nebraska is supposed to win, does that bother your confidence knowing, is that more nerve-wracking playing one of those teams than it would be playing Ohio State this week?
No, because I feel like Ohio State's the same way. I think that they believe that they're going to drop at least 40 points on everybody. So I feel like when you're going against any team, like every team is coming into the game thinking they're going to win, thinking they're going to score a bunch of points and they're going to hold you to 0 points. So the confidence isn't surprising.
Mm-hmm.
It might just be the level of confidence that is surprising. Like I'm not knocking Illinois for thinking that they're really good and that they're going to beat Nebraska, but I'm going to knock you for thinking that I'm going to knock you for saying that Nebraska's defense is subpar and think you're going to drop so many points on them. When last year you dropped around that number of points when Nebraska played one of, if not their worst game of the season.
Yeah, statistically speaking, for sure. Their worst game, -5 in the turnover. And that's the thing, is they put up 41. I believe they won 41-23, I think, last year. They put up 41 in a game that Nebraska turned over the football a lot.
A million times, it feels like.
I think
it was 4.
They committed a ton of penalties. And Nebraska now starting quarterback was not playing for the first 3 quarters. So things were happening last year. Also, then this pulls over or goes into the conversation of what has Nebraska done? Like, what are the questions that Nebraska's had this offseason? How do those look now? And so I made a list.
Can I answer somebody's text really fast?
Absolutely.
Jim and Lincoln, it's the same players, the same coaches that they whooped the crap out of last year. Why wouldn't they be super confident? Because you also have new coaches. So it may be the same coaches in Nebraska, and it may be most of the same players that Nebraska is playing, but you have the same players but completely new coaches and a new system and new everything. So you're not going to be doing the exact same things you did last year to be successful. So I understand the confidence from the players' perspective and maybe even the coach's perspective, but again, not knocking the confidence, just knocking the level of confidence.
Yeah, and I think it's just all about offseason adjustments. I feel confident in what Nebraska's staff has done this offseason to put them in a better place, whether that be with the new faces that are on the team in Samori Toure, or Will Nixon's now healthy, and Xavier Betts and Omar Manning are playing. In the running back room, it's Marquise Steps. Rehab has gone well. Sevion Morrison is now competing for the starting job, and we hear that every single press conference. It feels like Gabe Irvin's still in the mix. And then at quarterback, it hasn't been the Luke or Adrian talk. It's more of the Adrian is our guy. We're putting all of our eggs into this basket, and we feel confident about him. The offensive line, yes, you lost a couple bigger names there, but Sichterman has been in the system, in the program for all 4 years. Brant Banks or Turner Corcoran are practically interchangeable, it sounds like. However, it's not certain that Corcoran's going to be out this week. So either way, I feel confident about that position. You have Ethan Piper at left guard, who said just yesterday, and had a great press conference overall, but said yesterday that Cam Jurgens is a dude and he is more talented than he's ever seen Cam Jurgens. He's the definition of a pipeline.
Brent Banks is also playing 10 or 20 pounds heavier than he was last year.
And so that's just adjustments on the offensive side of the ball that we have been able to see. Obviously, you're looking for it to transfer over into a game, but we're not going to know that until Saturday. So we're just going off of what we've seen this offseason, what guys from our station, from the media, have witnessed at practice, what we've seen in the spring game, what we've seen in the open practice they had a couple months ago before the spring game.
What the coaches have told us.
Exactly. And that's all we can go off of. And so for that reason, I'm pretty confident. So some of these conversations, and they all kind of tie together. Adrian needs to stop fumbling. Well, if Nebraska can open up the passing game and establish a running back, which
he won't have to carry as much.
He won't have to. That'll alleviate some of the pressure that Martinez feels like he has to carry the whole offense on his back. It's going to go back to that whole thing of Adrian gets to use his feet and his scrambling ability as a weapon instead of the
crutch.
Reliable option. Yeah, the crutch. Who's going to be the running back? Will it be by committee? Matt Lubick said today,
we know who it is. We're just not going to tell you.
Exactly. So Lubick said today that they have decided on a number one guy, but they won't announce who. But like
do you think the players know who it is?
I don't know, but
or do you
either
think
way,
they're still switching reps in practice just to keep them like, oh, you could be the number one guy. You could be the number one guy. We know who we're going to go with, but we want to keep you going at full pace. We don't want anybody to lollygag if they think that they have the starting spot.
Well, I think that's a good point there. But also, either way, whoever it is, whether it's a Marquise Stepp, whether it's a Sevion Morrison, or whether it's Gabe Irvin, which I think we're going to see all three of them, whoever goes out there first and runs the ball right up the middle, like I'm assuming the first play of the season is going to be, I'm pretty confident that, they had to beat some dudes out.
Unnamed texter. DraftKings apparently said they should get more from their running backs led by Ramir Johnson.
They don't know.
I don't think it's Ramir Johnson.
I don't think so either.
I don't think it's Ramir Johnson. He was not one of the three listed by Lubick today.
Other questions from the offseason. Will we finally get to see Omar Manning? Yes, he's been very active, and so I'm not worried about that.
He has been practicing.
What about the snaps?
Almost every day.
What about the snaps? Cam Jurgens, even though he's not a captain, has developed as a leader. Ethan Piper said it yesterday. We've heard it from multiple people all offseason. And once again, the snaps are something that we're just not going to be able to analyze or read too much into until the season starts.
I don't think anybody's
Saturday.
asked about the snaps in a while either.
Exactly. And so maybe that's on the back burner. Here's one question. Will Nebraska finally be able to establish a pass rush? Kind of that outside linebacker room as well. Because Henrich is now inside again, and no Honus, Kolarvik's still in there. Caleb Tanner is going to be coming off the edge. You have JoJo Doman, Feldarius Payne, Garrett Nelson. You have the bodies there. Damian Daniels, obviously, in the front four. Ben Stilley,
Ty Robinson,
Jordan Riley behind him. Like there's guys. They have depth, and that's been a common word.
Eric Chineder did say the other day that the pass rush isn't exactly where they want it to be, but it has improved from last year, and they're working on improving it every single day. So it'll be an improved pass rush, but I don't know how much you're actually going to get from it.
Here's a competition that's still going on. Shenander said it today. Opposite Cam Taylor-Britt, there's still a competition going on between Quentin Newsome and Braxton Clark. Obviously.
What happened to my man Tyreek?
Obviously, that guy Quentin Newsom or Braxton Clark, whichever guy gets the start, they were the one secondary position that did not earn a black shirt. And so that's kind of understandable there. Who's going to be opposite Cam Taylor-Britt, Quentin Newsom, or Braxton Clark? Also in the secondary behind Deontay Williams and Markell, you have Tyreek Johnson because they're cross-training him. You also have
Miles Farmer,
whose rehab is going well as well, in addition to everything else. And then lastly, we haven't heard this one in the offseason, but it was right after the Rutgers game, is play calling. I expect Lubick to have a bulk. I expect Frost to hand over the play calling a little bit, and we see that. And I'm not saying that. I mean, Frost is still going to have his fingerprint on it, as he should,
but he'll be able to go around more to each group and not put out fires. That's not the word I want to use.
That was a common theme yesterday.
Yeah, it's just be able to help out more with each individual group. Maybe some things that he's seen, some things that he wants to switch up, some like little changes here and there that he might want to have his input on with each group, as opposed to last year when he said that he didn't really get to see special teams because he was working with the offense, or he didn't get to see some defensive plays because he was working with the offense. Now he'll be able to see all of it, hopefully. If he's handing over more play calling duty to Matt Lubick, he'll be able to see all of it and be able to be like, hey, what was going on here? I think this, whatever he wants to say, he's the head coach. He's going to have a say in everything.
Yeah. And then obviously special teams, like Rico just said, is seeing what kind of athletes are on the field this year in special teams, who's back there returning punts, who's fielding kicks. Is it going to be Alante Brown returning kicks and
who's kicking it off?
Cam Taylor-Britt returning punts. And is it, little things like just catching them and not muffing punts and little things like that.
Will kickoffs get into the end zone?
Yeah, stuff like that.
No more air kicks.
We'll find out on Saturday. Let's take one final time out here. More up next, and we wrap up the show on the Happy Hour.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. 93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The heat and humidity in full force once again today. A heat advisory in effect this afternoon. Actual temps near 100. It will feel more like 105 with a south wind at 15. Slight chance of storms this evening. A low dropping down to 71. Just a touch cooler tomorrow with a high of 93. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Every time the back door closes, it squeaks and reminds me of how I used to go out back for a cigarette 2-3 times a day when I was stressed, when I was hungry, when I was bored. But then I think of how the stale taste lingered in my mouth, and I reach into my purse and pop a stick of gum. And the craving is gone.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
T.O. Haas Tire and Auto.
T.O. Haas Tire reminds you there's still plenty of summer left for one more long weekend, one more day in the sun, or one more getaway drive down your favorite road to enjoy one last stretch of summer. And we're here to help with up to $100 back on a new set of Michelin tires, including the all-new Cross Climate 2.
T.O. Haas Tire and Auto, a tradition of trust.
Mike Schaefer here with 5-star child care provider Lee Beecher from Bubbles and Blocks. Let's start with what makes Bubbles and Blocks special.
We have 3 beautiful locations in Lincoln that provide the safety, security, and reliability you need while also bringing a family feel to each classroom at every location.
I also hear some congratulations are in order.
Thank you. Yes, we just won the Lincoln Choice Award for Best Daycare and Preschool for the 3rd year in a row.
What should people do if they want to join the Bubbles and Blocks family?
Call to set up a tour to enroll your child today, or you can visit bubblesandblocks.com to apply to join our team.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. I'm a better neighbor because my service has taught me how important it is to be a team player. My training helps me in my classes when I give attention to detail to the task at hand. My service also allows me to be there for my community in ways others can't. I help my hometown recover after nature strikes. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my country and those I care about safe from threats. I also work with a network of professionals that help me succeed. Also, the Army National Guard's education benefits make getting a higher education a reality. Being an Army National Guard soldier makes living and serving in my community more rewarding every day. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time close to home by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Nebraska Army National Guard. Aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association at this station.
New owners means new lunch specials at the Fox Bar and Grill. They've just introduced tons of options on their new under $10 lunch menu. Small nachos grande, a classic cheeseburger, 4 boneless or traditional wings and fries, or a small single topping pizza for just $5 each. Try the mushroom Swiss burger or the pepper jack stack burger for just $6. And for just $7, try any of the classic steak Philly, club wrap, grilled chicken salad, or grilled Southwestern salad. It's the under $10 lunch menu at the Fox Bar and Grill, just south of 14th and Pine Lake.
Hello, Charlie Stone here, and joining me is Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, are you there?
I sure am, Charlie. Great to talk to you again.
Andy, I know you're selling a lot of cars right now, but I hear you still have a lot of cars available.
We do, Charlie. In fact, we still have over 500 new 2021 Hondas to choose from in stock or on the way, with 0% APR financing available on select models.
What about new 2022 Hondas, Andy?
You know, we actually have quite a few in stock already, and they're arriving every day.
Now, I'm going to assume since you're selling a lot of new cars, you have some great trade-ins available too. How is the selection of pre-owned?
It's the largest selection of pre-owned we've ever had, Charlie, with over 160 choose from. People can choose from just about any make and model you can imagine.
Thanks, Andy. Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Now that Ken Richards has purchased Broker's Agency, he and his professional staff will continue to provide their clients with the same excellent service under the Broker's Insurance Agency name. Broker's Insurance Agency works with more than 15 companies to help find the best policy for you to avoid any long hassles. Also, if you're looking to get into the insurance business as an independent agent, they have the formula to make that process smooth and successful. Call Ken with Broker's Insurance Agency today at 402-420-5353 or visit brokersinsurancene.com.
Now back to the happy hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back here one final time on the happy hour. Nick Sainert, Enrique Alvarez Clary with you. In case you missed the news, 3 conferences are forming an alliance, 41 prestigious institutions across the country. As Trev Alberts just said, spanning across Boston all the way to California, with Nebraska right in the middle. He released a video, and every time I hear Alliance, I feel like this clip needs to be played.
Do you want to form an alliance with me? Absolutely, I do. Good.
And so, if in case you missed it, there's no contract with this alliance. It's all based on trust. So who burns bridges first will be the thing to look for.
Looking at you, Ohio State.
Yeah. So in case you missed that, no contract.
Contracts are for weaklings.
Yeah, they're doing it solely based on trust. And that's basically what Jim Halpert and Dwight Schrute did.
Dude, that's wild. People still trust each other.
Yeah. And so that's good. So
it's 2021 and trust is still a thing.
Another thing that they know so far, they know that they are unsure whether or not they are fans of the 12-team college football playoff model. Or,
I would think with 41 teams, you would be a fan of it because then you could get more of your alliance in there to take out the dreaded SEC, who's going to get like 5.
Yes. And so Kevin Warren also said that it has nothing to do with Oklahoma and Texas to the SEC. However, you have to be candid. You have to see and acknowledge what's going around college athletics.
We are not directly reacting to Oklahoma and Texas going to the SEC. We just thought it'd be a great time to partner with the other 2 conferences that aren't the SEC. I don't know what you're talking about.
And so here we are. Also, this was released a couple days ago. Big Ten announced their COVID protocols. It'll be a forfeit if a team cannot play, whereas last year it was a no contest. However, if both teams cannot play, then it's a no contest. So it's going to be interesting to see how long teams wait to make a decision.
Mm-hmm. Wait, what do you mean?
Just in case the other team gets some COVID problems.
So you're saying there might be some gamesmanship where if you announce early and the team was also going to announce, but they're just like, oh, well, wait a minute,
it's a waiting game.
They're like, well, we could have played.
I don't know if they have some guideline on that where it's you have to. I know you have to report. I know you have to report. Your daily testing or your weekly testing, I believe, is what they're doing this year.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they'll have to report that, and that idea won't come to fruition. Also, last night in preseason, Jameis Winston in the Saints-Jaguars game went 9 of 10 through the air, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns in the first quarter.
Hasn't lost it.
He, crab legs, man.
I like Jameis Winston. I think he's a really talented quarterback. I think he's going to do well. He can see now. He got eye surgery.
He's not the starter, though. He hasn't been announced as the starter.
Look at me. Look at me right now. Nick, look at me. Do you really think that Jameis Winston is going to lose to Taysom Hill?
No, but that's just Sean Payton being Sean Payton. Faisal 5 times says, so we waited a week to hear about the alliance, and all we learn is that there is an alliance. Any actual news, or am I missing something? No,
that's literally all it is, Faisal. Sorry about it.
To this point, and you can even fact check me.
I mean, you can watch. They had a presser with the 3 commissioners.
Yeah.
Maybe there was some more there, but that's what Stuart Mandel, right?
Yeah, Stuart Mandel
got from it.
Tons of people are saying, okay, this is the Pac-12 commissioner. Remember when he left somewhere in Las Vegas to be the commissioner?
Sure.
The MGM Grand. He says, George Kliavkoff says, quote, there is no signed contract to define the new alliance between the ACC, Big Ten, and Pac-12. So no legal deterrent to stop leagues from poaching member schools. This is the best part. He says, quote, it's an agreement among 3 gentlemen. So 3 gentlemen shook hands, and we were all good to go.
3 gentlemen talked to the teams in their leagues and just thought, some of you might want to leave, so we won't sign a contract just yet.
Yeah, because if the SEC calls you, we know you might want to go.
Goodness gracious, man.
And so if you missed it, also the top 10 hardest schedules of the season came out per the SP Plus. Nebraska ranks 2nd. Other Big Ten schools in that top 10, number 10, Penn State, number 7, Indiana, number 6, Michigan, number 5, Purdue. And so quite a few Big Ten schools in there. Arkansas comes in with number 1.
In case you're running, Arkansas is number 1.
Yeah,
because the SEC is good.
Here's the interesting part about it. An average top 5 team would produce a win percentage of 78%.
Wow.
Less than 9.3 wins versus Arkansas' schedule. So just something to keep in mind if Nebraska doesn't make a bowl game. Yeah.
Huh.
Something to keep in mind if Nebraska doesn't make a bowl game.
Just be above average.
That's all for today. We will talk to you guys tomorrow.
Adios.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the